Once upon a time, in a small village snuggled between the rolling green hills and dense forests, there lived a sweet little girl known as Little Red Riding Hood. This lovely nickname came from the bright red cloak her grandmother had made for her, which Little Red Riding Hood wore every single day. One sunny morning, as the birds chirped merrily, Little Red Riding Hood's mother called her into the kitchen. "I need you to do a very important task today," she said, handing her a basket full of delightful goodies like freshly baked bread, sweet honey, and her grandmother's favorite spiced cake. "Your grandmother is feeling a bit under the weather, and I want you to take this basket and cheer her up. She lives in the cottage at the edge of the woods, but remember, stay on the path and don't talk to strangers." Little Red Riding Hood nodded eagerly, excited for the adventure. She hugged her mother, promising to follow her advice. She set off on the trail, humming to herself as the sun kissed her cheeks and the gentle breeze played with her red cloak. As she pranced along the path through the enchanting forest, everything seemed magical. The trees whispered secrets with the wind, and the flowers danced joyously. Little Red Riding Hood was captivated by the endless wonders of the forest and chirping of squirrels that sounded like a jovial band. But suddenly she heard a rustle in the bushes. Out came a large, cunning wolf. His eyes twinkled with curiosity and a touch of mischief. "Good morning, little girl," he said in a deep voice that was smooth like silk. "Good morning, Mr. Wolf," said Little Red Riding Hood with a friendly smile, forgetting her mother's warning. "Where are you off to on this fine day, Miss Riding Hood?" the wolf inquired slyly. Not suspecting any harm, she replied, "I'm off to visit my grandmother who lives in the cottage at the end of this path. She's not feeling very well, so I'm bringing her some treats to cheer her up." The wolf's ears perked up. "Is that so? What a dutiful granddaughter you are," he said with a grin, already planning his own devious plot. "I'm sure your grandmother will be very happy to see you. I must leave now, but do take care on your journey," he said, slinking away. After a while, Little Red Riding Hood reached her grandmother's cottage only to find the door slightly ajar. A bit puzzled but not suspecting anything, she stepped inside. "Grandmother, it's me, Little Red Riding Hood," she announced joyfully. "Come in, my dear," a voice called out from the bedroom. Little Red Riding Hood entered the room to see her grandmother tucked in bed, wearing a strange nightcap that seemed a bit too large. "Grandmother, what big eyes you have," she exclaimed, noticing something was amiss. "The better to see you with, my dear," came the raspy response. "And grandmother, what big ears you have. The better to hear you with, my dear." "But grandmother, what big teeth you have. The better to eat you with, my dear," shouted the wolf as he sprang from the bed. Just as the wolf was about to pounce, a brave woodsman happened to pass by. Hearing the commotion, he burst into the cottage, wielding his trusty axe. With a quick and skillful action, he chased the wolf away, saving Little Red Riding Hood and her grandmother. Shaken but unharmed, Little Red Riding Hood ran to her grandmother, hugging her tightly. "I promise I will never talk to strangers again," she vowed, realizing how important it was to heed her mother's warnings. Reunited and safe, Little Red Riding Hood and her grandmother sat down to enjoy the delicious treats, laughing and talking happily, grateful for the bravery of the good woodsman. And so, they all lived happily, cherishing each other evermore.